me.
I don't like the very high energy. I don't want to be not me.
Do you?
Okay.
Just do you.
Alright. Hey there, I am Patrick and I am the Mundane Chef. Hey everybody, I'm Patrick and I am the Mundane Chef. And the truth is, I really don't like to cook, but every now and then I find something just interesting enough that it gets me behind this apron and in my kitchen. So let's jump right in and do some interesting cookery. Alright, so today we're going to be making pickles at home, and we're using these small cucumbers we got at the grocery store. We got 3 pounds of cucumbers, and we need to make sure they're washed and they're clean before we can even think about putting them in there to pick. You want to make sure they're very, very clean before you even think about putting them in a container to start pickling. So we're going to start using distilled or purified water. You really don't want to use tap water. The chlorine in there is not going to help these little cucumbers turn into any kind of pickles. So we're going to start by washing them. So before I started, I actually cut off the stems, and there's an enzyme that will keep these things from staying nice and crisp if you don't cut that off. So I went ahead and cut those off before I washed them. Just want to keep them nice and rinsed off. They do a good job cleaning them, but they're not perfectly clean. Certainly not clean enough to pickle when you get them home from the store. Okay, so the next step is to go ahead and make our brine that these cucumbers are going to soak in while they're turning into pickles. And so what we're going to do is take half a cup of pickling salt and put it into a gallon of water. Well, I didn't have a gallon pitcher like I don't think most people necessarily do. We're going to just dump that into a half gallon there, dump that into a half gallon there, and while I am stirring this, I'm going to answer a question you didn't even know you had, and that is, how is pickling salt different than table salt like you put on your food? And the answer is, this is just 100% potassium chloride. This doesn't have iodine, this doesn't have the anti-caking things that table salt have to keep it from, sticking together. So I have got 2 half-gallon containers of brine. This salt's going to continue to dissolve, but for the brevity of time, I'm going to go ahead and set it aside while we get our jar ready. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is add all the good things that make the pickles have the flavors that we love so much. So we got ourselves a large canning jar. You can use like a stone crock or some kind of other thing that's going to hold it and be able to be large enough to get your pickles in. We're going to start with a teaspoon of dill seed. We're going to just put that right in the bottom. This is Pickling Spice, and if you've never smelled it, it is so good. It has got cinnamon, allspice, mustard seed, coriander seed, bay leaves, ginger, cloves, red pepper, black pepper, cardamom, and mace. So it all is really, really good. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of that. And of course, as with any good cooking, flavor to taste. So you might do this once and discover next time you want to do a little bit more, a little less. You can put cloves of garlic in there. But I think this is going to be exactly what we need for the pickles that we're making. And then of course, we've got our dill, fresh dill, not the dried chopped dill. You could do that if you had to, but I would say this is the way you want to go on the floor. And this is the good stuff here. That just goes right in the bottom. Nothing fancy, no special techniques. So you're ready to go. Alright, so what you're going to do is just start packing these in here. It's not hard to do, you just start laying them in there. And don't worry about it if they don't all fit side by side. There's always room in there for the last one. And just like this one, we're going to put it on top and it's not going to be a problem at all. All right, so once you've got your salt all dissolved in the water, you're gonna go ahead and pour this brine in your pickle storage container. But there's something very important. You do not want to fill it all the way up to the top, and I'll show you why in a minute. Just trust me on this. Okay, we've got our spices, our seasoning, we've got our cucumbers, we've got our brine. Everything is very nearly ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is make a seal that goes across the top that's going to hold these cucumbers down. You can have these ready to go in as few as 3 days. Last year we did it in about 4 days, and this time we think we're going to go 5 or 6 days. We're going to see how this goes. But what we're going to do is take more of our brine. This is our saltwater solution. And instead of using regular tap water, the contents of this bag is not going to get into the pickles, but in case this thing leaks, you want to make sure it's still going to be the brine that's in the jar. So take your brine, pour it in this bag, just enough to go across the top of your jar, or whatever you're using to put your cucumbers in. Got that nice seal on there. And now I am going to simply push this down into there.
Too much water.
Too much water.
Too much water.
I might leave that in. I might leave that in. Is it still going?
Yeah.
All right.
And pour some back. Yeah, there you go.
So just enough water to not overflow your pickles.
I think I used a sandwich Ziploc bag last time.
We're gonna go with this. We're gonna see how it works. We're still doing this? Okay. Yes, the Mundane Chef, episode 1. It's getting better every day. Hold on. I'm doing this way so you can learn and do it better next time.
You get the sandwich.
I'm being told by my producer that I should use a sandwich bag. Hang on a minute. Hold on. I just happen to have one up here. So what you're going to want to do is get a sandwich bag. We've determined that gallon is way too big. And you're going to just fill this bag up with your brine solution. Fine people at Clausen Pickles have figured this out so you don't have to. You're going to put that in your jar. Yeah, you're going to put that in your jar, and you're going to be ready to have some pickles when this is done fermenting. Okay, so apparently this is exactly how much you need in a sandwich bag. You got a nice little closure on the top here. Okay, so now we're ready, but there's an important part we need to talk about, and that's temperature. You're looking for like 65 to 70 is your ideal temperature to store it, and that's Fahrenheit. Because much warmer than 74 and much colder than about 65, and your fermentation is going to be inhibited, and your pickles aren't going to develop like they should. So I have this insulated cooler bag I'm going to put my jar into, and that's going to go into my garage. Garage is 65 right now, so it's just about perfect. You can find a place in your house, just in the basement or in your garage, or just someplace where you can keep it cool. If you needed to add some ice cubes, you could, but I'm just going to put this in here carefully, and in about 24 hours I'm going to check this, and I'm going to see if there's any scum or anything I need to scrape away. That's normal as part of the fermentation process. There shouldn't be much mold if you've cleaned everything well, but if there is, just go ahead and clean that off as well at the time. But right now I'm just going to put this away, and we'll check it again in about a day or so. Well, in about a day. Alright, you ready to do this pickle wrap-up video? Well, we got a bit of a problem. We've already eaten half our pickles, so I guess we're going to have to do this with what we got left. Alright, so our pickles are done. And we had no intention of canning or putting these in jars because we've already eaten half the pickles. They're really good. So they're super good. They're super crunchy. And if you've ever had a half sour pickle, these are a lot more like that than a dill pickle that you would have had at a deli or out of the jar from the supermarket. And they're really, really, really crunchy, and probably some of the best pickles I've ever had. And you gotta try this. It's fun. You can do it with your kids, you can do it with your friends, you can do it by yourself. It's super easy, super fun, super rewarding, but I need to know a couple things. One, what else can I pickle? Cucumbers seem like the obvious choice. I know there's other things I can pickle, but what have you pickled? What do you think I should try next? And two, if Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how exactly did Peter Piper pick pickled peppers? I don't think you could pick peppers that have already been pickled. So if you have any theories on that, please comment as well below, because that one really has me stumped. So these are my pickles. They're half gone. Thanks for watching. I'm the Mundane Chef. Have a great day.